Hi guys, I'm Amy J and welcome to Space Directing Energy. This is your webinar workshop and healing practice to get you guys started for your course. So before we actually dive into what this course is all about, which is space and how we direct energy in the spaces we inhabit, I need for you to pause the video and get your notebook, a pen or pencil so you can write, and to print out or download the 3 PDF handouts 1, 2, and 3 that are located next to the webinar link. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. All right, so I want to get started by talking about the different spaces that we inhabit and why space is so important. Um, as multidimensional beings, we inhabit all sorts of spaces, not just in the physical reality, but also in emotional, spiritual, and energetic realities as well. So there are many, many different spaces that we inhabit. Um, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little while. But before I talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about what I mean by using space to our advantage or using space for maximum potential. So every space that we inhabit, let's just start with a very simple and actually deceptively complicated space, our physical bodies. For the most part, most of us inhabit our physical bodies on the regular. You know, sometimes we leave and then we come back. But for the most part, our physical body is a vehicle through which our soul is able to navigate this earthly existence. And in our physical body, we have all these different spaces. And in each space, we have different organs, different parts of our body that serve particular purposes. Now, every single part of our physical space in our body has a function. And what determines whether that function functions to its maximum potential are a number of different factors. The primary and the biggest factor is its energetic vibration. So think of your car. If your car has gas, it's going to run. If your car has gotten its oil changed recently, it's going to run even better. If your car has gotten its brake pads replaced and renewed, it's going to run even better. If your car has gotten a wax and a new paint job, it's going to look really good. And if your car is being driven by somebody who understands the rules of the road, that car is going to excel. Not only that, but it's going to be attracting attention from people who see that car on the side of the road. And the type of attention it attracts is dependent upon all these factors: how well the car is taken care of, who's driving the car, and how they drive. If it's a bad driver, you might be getting some FUs along the way. If the driver is conscientious and kind, maybe a lot of gratitude. If the driver is driving a car that's super flashy or that has a lot of very rare things, like maybe it has some cool hubcaps and, like a really, really cool thing on the back. I don't know much about cars, so I'm outside of my element here. But you'll be attracting attention based on what your car looks like and how you're driving it. It's the same for our physical bodies. If we are taking care of our physical bodies, the vehicle, the physical body itself, will be able to run smoother, faster, and more efficiently. If we take care of the spaces inside our body, we will be able to manifest with greater ease spaces in our external reality that support us more easily. So it works both ways. If you change your external reality, you're going to be affected on an internal level as well. So I'm not advocating for one over the other. I'm actually advocating that both take place simultaneously, that we look at our internal spaces as well as the external spaces, because one begets the other and vice versa. Now, let's talk a little bit about energetic vibration in spaces. So, we know that a sound vibration, when we listen to music, for example, can instantly change the way we feel about our environment. And this happens when a song that we love comes on the radio, it automatically brightens our day. Or if a song that we hate comes on the radio, it can very, very quickly change how we feel about everything going on around us. Now, with that, every thought that we have carries with it an energetic vibration. And that energetic vibration of that thought has a neurochemical reaction in the body, meaning every thought that we have tells our nervous system and our endocrine system, our hormones, to do something. And an action gets taken. So if every thought that we have has an energetic vibration, that means that we're actually creating a particular vibration all the time based on the types of thoughts that we're having. Okay? So if you're thinking constantly, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, that thought is sending information to your brain, and your brain is then producing a certain number or amount of hormones or chemicals to support the body in a particular vibration. If you're constantly thinking, I'm unhealthy, or it's going to take forever for me to heal, that's what you'll be creating. And the same goes for the thoughts that you carry around being masterful in your life and being a leader in your life. So, what types of thoughts are you thinking about? What's taking up a lot of your focus right now? So, what I want you to do is actually turn to handout 1. And on that handout, you have a bunch of different shapes. Now, if none of those shapes appeal to you, draw your own shape. This shape is simply a representative of all the space that you inhabit as a physical body, as well as the physical environments you inhabit, the emotional environments you inhabit, the intellectual and energetic and spiritual environments that you inhabit. And what I'd like for you to do is to use that shape the way you would a pie chart, and to divide it up based on how you currently feel about these spaces and how these spaces take your focus at the present moment. So, for example, if work is taking up a lot of mental headspace and physical space for you, give that a bigger piece of the pie. If your personal life is taking up a lot of emotional or physical space, give that a larger piece of the pie. And take some notes in your little pie. So if it's only taking up a little tiny piece, what part of space is it taking up? Is it taking up a lot of thought space? Is it taking up a lot of physical space? Is a particular person taking up very little space? And where do you fall in this pie chart? So, how much space does your self care get in your day to day existence and focus? So, I want you to pause the video, take some time, and fill that out, and we'll reconvene in just a moment. Okay. All right, welcome back. So at this point, you should have completed part 1 of handout 1, which is to pick that shape and to fill out the pie chart in terms of where your focus currently lies on and how much mental space you're giving to certain areas of your life. We're going to come back to this handout in just a minute, but before we do, I want to talk a little bit about what you've noticed from this handout. So, in certain areas of your life, is your focus maybe a little out of balance? Maybe it's not enough, or maybe it's too much. And so, what I want you to do now is to take a look at handout number 2. And in the space below, in that handout, make a list of all the spaces in your life where you feel less than 100% empowered by being in. So, for example, if you feel like work is less than 100% empowering for you, make note of that. It can be a physical location, it can be a mental location. So if anytime you focus on a particular relationship you feel disempowered, make note of that. And And feel free to have a lot of fun with this. When you're done with that, I want you to go back to handout number 1, pick a new shape, and pick a shape that you are going to use to draw a new pie chart. And in this new pie chart, it's going to be your ideal mental, emotional, and spiritual focus, where you'd like to ideally focus on in your life and in what ways. So as you draw that new pie chart, you're going to include some adjectives that describe how you'd like to be focusing on these new areas of your life. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. At this point, you will have completed handouts 1 and 2, and I'm going to give you a little bit of time to actually simmer with your awarenesses from those handouts before we do some healing. And this is just to really get your body and your cells ready to create that space and to release the resistance. So I want to talk a little bit about what causes us to feel disempowered in our space. So let's talk a little bit about the physical body for a minute. Our physical body is constantly engaging in relationships. It's engaging in relationships with itself from cell to cell. Our individual cells are talking and communicating with each other. It's engaging in relationships with what we're wearing. It's engaging in relationships with the physical environment that we're embodying. So the rooms that we live in, the types of living environment that we inhabit, where we work, who we interact with, what we do for fun. All of these things are contributing and are a particular type of relationship. And every single one of these relationships is governed by your choice. Now, the feeling of disempowerment is a result of feeling that these choices to engage in relationships with our external and internal environments in a particular way are no longer our choices. And that's when the feeling of disempowerment gets really uncomfortable. That's when we start to feel stuck, when we start to feel overwhelmed, when we start to really allow things to accumulate in our physical reality, in our bodies, as well as in our mental reality and our emotional and spiritual realities. So this accumulation is actually what leads to overwhelm in the various spaces we inhabit. And it's very, very challenging to be a leader if your space is filled with all sorts of commitments and senses of obligations to others. Wouldn't it be nice instead to replace that obligation with choice? So, what I want to actually have us do in just a minute is to pause the video and to do a little reflection on what types of energies occupy your space currently. What types of emotions are there in your space? Whether it's your mental space, your physical space, the home you live in, where you work, what types of thoughts are constantly going on repeat like a broken record when you think about being a leader in your life? So when you close your eyes and you imagine yourself being masterful and reaching the people that you are here, that you were born to reach, what types of thoughts take up space? Where are you renting space to ideas that really haven't been the best tenants? So pause the video, take some time, reflect on that, and we'll be back in just a minute. So let's go back to this car metaphor for a minute. I mentioned earlier, if the driver knows the rules of the road, it's going to be a smoother trip. So, what are your rules for your road? What are the rules that you chose when you decided to come into the physical space of being incarnate in a body? What are the boundaries or the guidelines that you stated, this is my bottom line? Take a moment and think about that. What is it that you are here to do? What do you need in order to accomplish that? What type of space do you need to create in your physical body, in your emotional body, your spiritual body, in your home, in your classroom, at your work, with your family, and with your friends? What types of spaces are needed in order for you to achieve the experience of being a leader in your life? So take a moment, pause the video, think about that, and write down your answer. Okay, welcome back. So I want you to pull up handout number 3 now. And while I'm talking, take a look at it. It's a very interesting looking handout. For this particular handout and exercise, I want to invite you to get colored pencils, crayons, markers, paints, whatever you'd like. If you'd like to bring color to this exercise, you're more than welcome to. I want to tell you a little story about the first time I really understood the value of structure and the value of foundation. So it started when I was 7 years old. I grew up in a family of artists, and as a small child, I was encouraged to draw. I love drawing. I still love drawing and painting. My mother signed me up for a drawing class. My older sister had been taking this class for a couple years, and she was about 7 years older than me, so she had actually graduated from the class. So she was not going to be in attendance at the class when I started. And I was the youngest student by at least 3 years. So I was little compared to the other students in the class. And when I got there, we were in a room with big drafting tables. And for a 7-year-old, going to an adult-sized drafting table is a little intimidating. Well, I sat down on the table, or not on the table, I sat down at the table. And suddenly I was terrified. I was totally self-conscious. I felt so ashamed. I felt like I could never live up to the standards that the teacher expected from me. I felt as if my skill set was just going to be so far beneath everyone around me in that class that I crossed my arms, I put my pencil down, and I refused to draw. Meanwhile, I'm crying while this is happening. So the teacher got really, really worried. She got so worried that she actually called my mother, and my mom came. We lived just down the street, so she came back and saw me crying, took me upstairs with my sketch pad, and I said to her very, very stubbornly, "I'm not going back down there. I refuse to draw. I hate drawing. Drawing sucks." And she said, "Amy, I want you to go back down there. Here's what we're going to do." And she opened my sketch pad. She took a pencil and she scribbled all over the sketch pad. And there were all sorts of just doodles all over the sketch pad. She did it in about 5 seconds. So it wasn't, something that she put any thought into. And she said to me, "Amy, I have this for you. I want you to go downstairs and I want you to draw what you see. Create something from this." And so I did. I saw that she had created a structure and a foundation for me where there was no wrong choice. There was no incorrect decision that I could make. And so because I was free to create whatever I wanted within that structure, I suddenly felt empowered in my space. And I was no longer concerned about being the youngest student or the least experienced or having a shaky hand. I went downstairs and I started to draw. And I drew all sorts of things. And when I filled up that page that my mom had scribbled, I turned the page and I had an open blank sheet of sketch paper and I started to create. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because we are given all sorts of foundations when we're born. These foundations come from our DNA, the blueprint of our bodies. These foundations come from our family environment. what we learn is right or wrong, what is expected of us, how our parents take care of their spaces. These foundations come from our culture, of what we learn in school, of the people that we come face to face with, of the group collective beliefs of how spaces should be organized, how they might be run. So we have all these different things that are contributing at all different times to the space that is our body, the space that is our home, the space that is our workspace, our emotional spaces. All the time we have these different things that are saying to us, this is how to do it, this is how to do it, this is what you do. And it's up to us to choose which of those options we want to play in. So we have this beautiful foundation. How can you use the foundation that you've been given to create space in your life that works for you 100% of the time, that empowers you to be a leader in your life 100% of the time? So take a look at this scribble that I gave you as a handout. I want you to get some colored pencils or some crayons or some markers. We're going to pause the video, and I want you to actually draw in that space a picture or a series of pictures of what you look like when you are totally, completely empowered in your space. Now, this is a self-portrait. It doesn't mean you have to draw a human. You can draw a stick figure. You can draw symbolic representations of you. You can do whatever you want. There is no wrong thing to do here. Use the scribbles as inspiration. If they inspire you to go and create something on a blank piece of paper, do it. There's no wrong answer. So have fun with this, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Right, welcome back. At this point, you're probably really, really ready to release some energy and create some more space in your physical body and your emotional bodies. So what I want to invite you to do is to get comfortable, to find a comfortable seat. And for this practice, you're welcome to move. We're actually going to be using the Theta Healing Technique, which is a technique that induces, while you're awake, a theta brainwave, which is a dream wave. So there is no incorrect way to do this practice. However, if you are lying down, chances are you will fall asleep. So make sure that you're sitting up so you can really enjoy and remember what it is you experience during this practice. So let's just begin by finding that comfortable seat and closing your eyes. Take a nice, gentle, slow breath in. And as you exhale, see if you can allow your physical space, your body, the chair that you're sitting on, to become more comfortable for you. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, allow your consciousness to be directed to the center of your heart. In this heart space, feel what it feels like to breathe in your body. Feeling your heart, feeling the oxygen coming in, energizing the cells, moving to every single cell of the body. And as you exhale, anything that your body does not need gets released. I want you to imagine that you can project your consciousness very easily, simply by thinking it. So think to yourself, I'm going down to the soles of my feet, and I'm going to experience my reality from the soles of my feet, and in an instant, there you are. Imagine yourself in the soles of your feet, and imagine that in an instant you come out through the soles of your feet, you break through the crust of the earth, and you go down through all the layers of the earth, all the way to the center of Mother Earth. Imagine that you feel this space of Mother Earth, and you open your arms wide, and in an instant, this strong, powerful, fierce, protective energy of the earth fills your arms with this light, beautiful energy, and you travel up through all the layers of the earth, back up through the soles of your feet, And the moment that you enter through the soles of your feet, that energy from the center of the earth begins to spread into every single atom that is you. It goes balancing, aligning, gently reminding you of your space, of the strength that you already possess, of what it feels like to be empowered, grounded, and connected all at the same time. As you and this energy travel up the torso, going into every atom of your body, imagine yourself coming up to the top of your head and then coming out the top of your head and entering into a big, beautiful ball of light. In this ball of light, I want you to imagine that you say, I'm going up, and then in an instant, you go up into the universe. Picture yourself going up past stars in your ball of light, beyond the universe, through layers and layers of beautiful golden white lights, through a jelly-like energy and rainbow-colored lights, and into a pink energy which fills you with energy and motivation, so that in an instant you go beyond that pink mist into a tingly white energy, which is the energy of creation, the subatomic quark energy that makes up all that is. This is the energy that is your birthright, for you are made of this energy. You are allowed to use this energy to create, to manifest, to heal, to grow. This energy is pure, unconditional love. Imagine that you step out of your ball of light into this energy, and that the space that you are, the atoms and molecules that you are and that you inhabit, feels contact on every surface with this energy of unconditional love. What does it feel like to be completely wrapped and supported by this energy of love? I want you to imagine that you address this energy. You say hello to it. You feel and notice how this energy communicates with you. Maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a sensation or a thought or an idea. Maybe you hear this energy speak to you. Everything is perfect. So take a deep breath in, breathing in this energy, filling your lungs with this new awareness. This remembering that you are always connected to the energy of creation, that this energy is always there for your use. And when you feel ready, you'll say to this energy, Creator of all that is, it is commanded or requested that a healing be given to me at this time. And that in every space that I occupy, I receive unconditional love and a clearing of negative, harmful, suffocating, stifling, and stuck energies. That these energies be sent to your light on the seventh plane of existence and replaced with unconditional love at this time. And that I know what it feels like to be empowered 100% of the time in every space that I occupy, physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic, intellectual, and otherwise. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. Then imagine this beautiful energy coming down through the top of your head, moving through every single cell of your body, every single atom of your space, all the spaces that you occupy as it scans you, releasing any energies that are creating stuckness, imbalance, or stress in your life. Any energies, any thoughts that are causing dis-ease in your experience. And say to this energy, Creator, it is requested that I be shown what it feels like to be an empowered leader in every space that I exist in, that I know how, and that I am impervious to disease, to toxic thoughts, to toxicity, to negative emotions from others, to negative beliefs, limiting beliefs and ideas from others, that I be allowed to maintain and sustain my space free from obligation. And say to the Creator, anywhere that I have obligation to give my space away, show me that it is now completed, that I know how to live without being obligated to sacrifice my spaces, that it's possible. Thank you. And imagine and feel as this energy moves through your body, all this new information coming in. And ask this energy, as it's changing the space within you, if there's anything more that you need to learn by being obligated to give your space, your time, your empowerment away. What purpose, if any, remains to allowing your spaces to remain disempowered? First thought, first feeling, first idea, whatever it may be, say to this tingly white energy, creator of all that is, it is requested that I know that these lessons are completed at this time. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. And then feel, sense, and experience this new information, the freedom from obligation taking place. And ask the Creator, Creator of all that is, it is requested that you remind me what my rules of the road are. It is requested that I be given the owner's manual to my space, that every single cell of my body and every atom of my being already know and understand how to create empowered space in every area of my life. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. Imagine that this tingly white energy shows you a manual or a scroll or a book. Inside this book or scroll or manual is all the information that you need to successfully navigate the spaces as you fulfill your destiny and your purpose as a master and a leader in this lifetime. Allow this information to come in unconditionally with no strings attached, so that your physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic bodies are now fluent in all of that information, giving you divine guidance whenever you need it, so that you can occupy spaces with greater ease, with more joy, and more fun. When that process feels complete, take a deep breath in and exhale. Imagine that tingly white energy showering you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, energizing you. When you're ready, taking your time, you can open your eyes. And we'll pause the video to give you time to reflect in your journal on things you noticed. What I'd like for you to do is to actually spend a little bit of time reflecting on what it feels like in your body now that your body has an understanding of the rules of your road, of how to occupy space in a way that empowers you as an authentic individual. So take some time to do that, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So we are going to be transitioning in just a moment to the second part of our workshop, where we're going to be focusing on the energetic vibrations and object memory held in the physical reality around us. But before we do that, I want you to go back and take a quick look at your handout number 1, both times you did it, and see if you notice any changes, if there are any adjustments that you would like to make to how you would ideally like to be using your focus and what you would like to be occupying your mental space on a daily basis. And we'll reconvene in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. We are going to change gears now and talk a little bit about the energetic flow of our physical spaces that we inhabit. So, what I mean by that is I want to talk a little bit about the stuff in your life. Now, stuff can be physical stuff, it can be emotional stuff. Um, all of our stuff, whether it's a physical object like this pen or it's an emotional memory like an experience, carries with it a vibration. And what I want to talk more specifically about is how to use our physical environment and how to engage in our physical environment in a way that allows us to use the spaces to support us in being leaders. So let's start with the basics. Every object carries with it a memory, an energetic signature of every person that it's ever touched, of every experience that it's been a part of. In the same way that you, as a human being, carry memories, whether you're aware of them or not, of everything you've ever experienced and everything your ancestors have ever experienced. So objects do too. So think, for example, if you have a wooden table or a dresser, every person that's touched that wood from when it was a dresser, that information stays on it. Every person that wood came into contact with when it was being turned into a dresser is there. And when it was a tree, before it was a dresser or a table, everything that it came into contact with, it is there. The rain, the stars, any animals that lived in the tree, all that information is contained within your dresser or your table. Pretty interesting. So where this gets super interesting is when the object memories are of a vibration that isn't helpful for creating flow and energetic movement and empowerment in our lives. Now, when does this happen? Well, this can happen if you experience something highly traumatizing. So, for example, say you get in a fight with somebody and you are out at a restaurant and you get in a fight at the restaurant. Now, every time you go back into that restaurant, you might actually feel a little bit uncomfortable, or the emotions that came up during that fight might still be present for you. You might remember them, or they might get triggered. Another example of this might be, say you move into a house that is hundreds of years old and it used to be owned by somebody who had slaves in the South. And there was a lot of abuse that took place in that house. Now, that emotion may still be present on the land or in the spaces, in the rooms. So you might actually get a strange feeling when you walk into certain rooms simply because the emotional signature, that imprint energy, is still present. And so what we're actually going to do is talk a little bit about how to use objects. So in a little bit, you're gonna be done with this webinar and you're gonna be going on to the next video, which is our guest instructor Bryce. And Bryce is a feng shui master, so he's going to talk to you more specifically about how to use objects to create more abundance and more flow in your life. What I want to talk to you about is what happens when we get these objects that we really love, but they have all sorts of funky energy attached to them. We're going to actually clear the spaces that you inhabit. So what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking about all the physical environments that you live in. And in your journal, make a list of all the different rooms, places that you go to on a regular basis, whether it's an office, whether it's a car or a train, your bathroom, your living room, your kitchen, a friend's house, all the different places that you inhabit. And notice how you currently feel in all of those places. So say, for example, in your home, you feel at ease, but there are certain rooms where you feel a little bit anxious or a little bit stressed. I want you to make a note of that in your journal and note what types of energies you feel in every room currently. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, or beautiful, just make a note of that. And we'll pause the video and come right back. Okay, welcome back. So at this point, you should have a pretty hefty list of spaces that you exist in on a day-to-day or regular basis and how you feel existing in those spaces currently. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do a healing to clear all of these spaces for you. So we're going to clear your home, the land of your home. We're going to clear where you work. We're going to clear your car if you have a car. Any place that you put on that list, we're going to facilitate a clearing on right now. And not only that, we're then going to tune into the energies of these different spaces so that you can feel what is needed. What kind of energies or emotions or positive feelings are needed to create more empowered action in your life in all of these rooms, because objects love to be needed and have purpose. So we're going to actually charge these objects with different purposes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also have a little exercise to teach you how to intuitively feel the energy of a space, whether it's your space or a room or someone else's space, so that you can feel what the energy is, what is yours and what isn't yours. All right. So I want to invite you to get comfortable. And again, we're going to be using the Theta Healing technique here. So it's the same process that we've done before. And I'll guide you through it a little bit faster this time since you've already done it once. So get comfortable and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And bring your awareness to your heart. As you take another cycle of breath, project your consciousness down to your feet, and already you feel that earth energy coming up from the center of the earth. It comes into your feet, it comes into your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees. It swirls around and through your knees as it comes up your thighs, up into your pelvis and your buttocks, up into all the organs as it comes up your spine and out the top of your head. I want you to imagine that you come to and enter into a big, beautiful ball of light. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale in your ball of light, say, I'm going up, and go up into the universe. Imagine you pass stars and planets and solar systems, go beyond the universe through layers of golden white light, through a jelly-like energy, through a pink mist, and into that tingly white energy, that pure energy of creation. Imagine your ball of light dissolves and you step out into this energy of unconditional love, feeling this energy with every atom that you are. Say to this energy, creator of all that is, it is commanded or requested that a clearing and a healing be given to every physical space I inhabit, every space that I've listed in my journal exercise, that these spaces be sent unconditional love, that any curses or blessings be removed and sent to Source and replaced with unconditional love, that any psychic hooks or attacks or negative energies be removed, sent to Creator's light, and replaced with unconditional love, and that all soul fragments of the houses, of the land, or wherever I've put on my list be exchanged and restored to complete wholeness at this time. And that every object in all of these environments be cleansed. Thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done, show me. And that energy is going to show you in your mind. You'll imagine all of these spaces that you've listed. And in an instant, all of this beautiful energy coming into these spaces, filling the spaces, washing out and changing any negative, any toxicity, anything that is harmful, instantly gets changed to love. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Then when you're ready, say to this energy, Creator, it is requested that you attune me to these environments so that I can know and feel and see what is needed in these environments in order for me to be more empowered, more masterful, and more, ever increasingly in alignment with myself as a leader on this planet. Thank you. Show me. And I want you to imagine that the Creator's energy walks you through all of these rooms, these environments, these places that you put on your list, showing you different energies or feelings that are needed for different objects to feel empowered, to feel masterful, to feel like a leader in your life. And as you watch this, the Creator will begin to instill these feelings into the objects. You'll feel and you'll witness that process taking place. And you can repeat this process at any time. When you're finished, if you choose that you would like certain objects to have particular functions or particular energetic functions, you can repeat this at any point in time, simply by requesting the Creator's energy to download and charge a particular object with a particular feeling. When you feel ready, take a gentle breath in and exhale. And then you'll say, Creator, it is requested that you teach me on every level and all that I am what it is to be able to intuitively feel and trust the energy of any space that I occupy, so that I can trust what I'm feeling, know if it's mine or if it's someone else's, and then know what to do with that information. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. So I want you now to go back in your mind to that initial pie chart that you made, and to pick the area of your life that is taking the most focus, taking the most space at this time. And with the energy of creation, imagine yourself feeling that situation and determining what is needed, what action is needed or not needed to create more harmony and more balance in your life. Imagine that tingly white energy showering you from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet. Take a deep breath in and exhale. When you are ready, you'll open your eyes. All right, welcome back. So take some time now, pause the video and reflect on your experience. Notice any shifts that have taken place. Notice how you feel in your body. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. So at this point, you now have some different tools in your cellular tool belt, your emotional tool belt, with which you can use to assist you in occupying space with more integrity, more empowerment, and more leadership. So I want to invite you to come back and do any of these exercises, any of these practices, while you go through the materials in this course. Space is a really, really powerful topic. So please, please, please feel welcome to go back through this as many times as you need. It's a big topic. Have fun while you're doing it. And when you're done with this, I recommend clicking on the next link directly below this webinar where you can learn about feng shui and occupying space from our feng shui master and founder of Boom, Bryce Kennedy. I so look forward to hearing from you. Please have a wonderful day. Aloha.